Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're talking to your adult children and it feels like they're not really listening? Maybe they interrupt you, dismiss your opinions, or even make decisions without considering how it might affect you. It's a tough spot to be in, isn't it? You've spent years raising them, guiding them, and now it feels like the respect you once had is slipping away. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many parents in their 60s and beyond experience this, and it can leave you feeling hurt, frustrated, and even a little lost. But here's the good news. It's never too late to turn things around. Respect is something that can be rebuilt, and it starts with you. In this video, we're going to explore 6 powerful ways to regain respect from your children. These aren't quick fixes or magic tricks. They're practical, actionable steps that you can start using today to improve your relationships and create a healthier dynamic with your family. So let's dive in. The first step is to set clear boundaries. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Boundaries? At my age? Shouldn't my kids already know how to treat me? And you're right, they should. But here's the thing. Sometimes, as our children grow into adults, the lines between parent and child can get blurred. They might start seeing you more as a friend or even take you for granted. That's why it's so important to establish boundaries that remind them of your role in their lives. Let me give you an example. Imagine your son or daughter calls you late at night to vent about their problems. While it's natural to want to be there for them, if it's happening frequently and disrupting your sleep, it's okay to say, "I love you, and I'm here for you, but I need my rest. Let's talk about this tomorrow." This isn't about pushing them away. It's about showing them that your time and well-being matter too. When you set boundaries like this, you're teaching them to respect your needs, and over time, they'll start to see you in a different light. Now, the second step is improving communication. This one is huge because, let's face it, a lot of misunderstandings and hurt feelings stem from poor communication. Maybe you've noticed that conversations with your children often turn into arguments, or they seem to tune out when you're speaking. If that's the case, it's time to take a closer look at how you're communicating with them. One of the most effective ways to improve communication is to practice active listening. This means really paying attention to what they're saying without interrupting or jumping to conclusions. For instance, if your daughter is telling you about a decision she's made, instead of immediately offering advice or criticism, try saying something like, "I hear what you're saying. Can you tell me more about why you chose this?" This shows that you value their perspective, and it opens the door for a more meaningful conversation. At the same time, it's important to express your own feelings clearly and calmly. If something they've done has hurt you, don't bottle it up or let it simmer. Instead, say something like, "When you did this, it made me feel unappreciated. I'd like us to find a way to avoid this in the future." By being honest and direct, you're showing them that your feelings matter, and you're setting the stage for mutual respect. Now, let's talk about the third step, leading by example. This might sound a bit old-fashioned, but it's still incredibly relevant. Respect is often earned through actions, not just words. If you want your children to treat you with respect, it's important to model the behavior you expect from them. This means showing them kindness, patience, and understanding, even when it's difficult. For example, if your son or daughter makes a mistake, instead of reacting with anger or disappointment, try responding with empathy. You might say, "I know this wasn't what you intended. Let's figure out how to fix it together." When they see you handling situations with grace and maturity, they're more likely to mirror that behavior in their interactions with you. It's also important to take care of yourself and maintain your independence. When your children see you living a fulfilling, active life, they're more likely to respect your choices and opinions. Whether it's pursuing a hobby, staying socially connected, or simply taking care of your health, these actions send a powerful message. You value yourself, and they should too. The fourth step is letting go of control. This one can be tough, especially if you've spent decades guiding your children and making decisions for them. But as they grow into adults, it's important to recognize that they need the space to make their own choices, even if those choices aren't what you would have done. Trying to control their lives or constantly offering unsolicited advice can lead to resentment and push them further away. Think about it this way. When you let go of control, you're showing your children that you trust them. You're acknowledging that they're capable of handling their own lives, and that's a powerful form of respect. For example, if your son or daughter is making a decision you don't agree with, instead of saying, "You're making a mistake," try saying, "I trust you to make the best choice for yourself. If you need my support, I'm here." This approach not only preserves their autonomy, but also strengthens your bond by showing that you're on their side. Of course, letting go doesn't mean you stop caring or being involved in their lives. It simply means shifting your role from being a director to being a supporter. And who knows? When they see that you respect their independence, they might even start seeking your advice more often because they know it comes from a place of trust, not control. The fifth step is practicing gratitude and appreciation. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. When you take the time to acknowledge and appreciate the positive things your children do, it creates a ripple effect. They feel valued, and in turn, they're more likely to show you the same level of respect and appreciation. Let me give you an example. Suppose your daughter helps you with something around the house without being asked. Instead of just saying, "Thanks," try being more specific. "I really appreciate how you noticed I needed help and stepped in without me having to ask. It means a lot to me." This kind of acknowledgement not only makes them feel good, but also reinforces the behavior you want to see more of. At the same time, don't forget to express gratitude for the little things. Maybe your son calls you regularly to check in, or your daughter includes you in family gatherings. These gestures might seem small, but they're important. By saying, "It always makes my day when you call," or "I love spending time with you and the grandkids," you're showing them that their efforts don't go unnoticed. Now let's talk about the sixth step. Addressing issues head-on, but with love. This is about having those difficult conversations that we often avoid because they're uncomfortable. Maybe there's a recurring issue that's causing tension, like your child speaking to you in a disrespectful tone or making decisions that affect you without consulting you. Ignoring these problems won't make them go away. It will only allow them to fester. The key here is to approach these conversations with love and a focus on solutions, not blame. Start by choosing the right time and place, when both of you are calm and not distracted. Then, frame the conversation in a way that emphasizes your feelings and your desire for a better relationship. For example, instead of saying, "You're always so disrespectful," try saying, "When you speak to me in that tone, it hurts my feelings. I'd like us to find a way to communicate more respectfully." By focusing on how their actions affect you and expressing your desire for improvement, you're more likely to have a productive conversation. And remember, it's okay if things don't change overnight. What matters is that you're taking steps to address the issue and showing your children that you're committed to building a healthier relationship. We've come a long way in this conversation, haven't we? By now, you've learned about setting boundaries, improving communication, leading by example, letting go of control, practicing gratitude, and addressing issues with love. These are all powerful tools to help you rebuild respect with your children and create a more positive dynamic in your relationships. But before we wrap up, let's take a moment to tie everything together and add a few final thoughts to help you put these strategies into action. One of the most important things to remember is that change takes time. If your relationship with your children has been strained for a while, it's not going to transform overnight, and that's okay. What matters is that you're taking steps in the right direction. Every small effort you make, whether it's setting a boundary, expressing gratitude, or having a difficult conversation, is a building block for a stronger, healthier relationship. Be patient with yourself and with your children as you navigate this process together. Another key point is to focus on what you can control. It's easy to get caught up in wanting your children to change their behavior, but the truth is, you can't force them to do anything. What you can do is control how you respond and the energy you bring to the relationship. By focusing on your own actions and attitudes, you're setting the tone for how you want to be treated. And over time, this can have a profound impact on how your children interact with you. Let's also talk about self-care. This might not seem directly related to respect, but it's actually a crucial part of the equation. When you take care of yourself, physically, emotionally, and mentally, you're sending a clear message to your children. I value myself, and I expect to be treated with respect. Self-care can look different for everyone. Maybe it's taking time to enjoy a hobby, spending time with friends, or simply giving yourself permission to rest when you need it. Whatever it is, make it a priority. When you feel good about yourself, it shows, and that can have a positive ripple effect on your relationships. Finally, don't underestimate the power of forgiveness. Holding on to past hurts or resentments can weigh you down and make it harder to move forward. This doesn't mean you have to forget what happened or pretend it didn't hurt you. It simply means choosing to let go of the negative emotions tied to those experiences so you can focus on building a better future. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself as much as it is a gift to your children. It opens the door to healing and allows you to approach your relationships with a fresh perspective. As we bring this conversation to a close, I want to leave you with this thought. You deserve to be treated with respect, and it's never too late to create the kind of relationships you want with your children. It might take effort, patience, and a willingness to try new approaches, but the results are worth it. Imagine a future where your conversations are filled with mutual understanding, where your boundaries are respected, and where you feel valued and appreciated. That future is possible, and it starts with the steps you take today. Before I go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried any of these strategies in your own relationships? What's worked for you?